Hello and welcome to Sunrise Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I am not joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, but instead I'm joined by perhaps the person most qualified to be a fill-in co-host for the show, that being regular guest star Billy Celio of Upper Deck. Billy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I hope Aaron's having fun doing his honeydew list right now, and I'm honored to take his place for the time being.
Awesome. Well, as of when we are recording this, this is release day for 21-22, the Cup, that being December 20th. And of course, the Cup is always one of the most looked forward to product every single year. So, of course, a product that we love highlighting and having Billy on to talk about and share some insight about. So, we're just going to jump right on in and get asking some questions about the product. Of course, one thing that we always really enjoy hearing about is the design for both the base set and the RPAs. So, what can you tell us about what went into the design inspiration for the base set and RPAs this year?
I thought the first question you were going to ask is if Connor Bedard's in the set, because that's what everybody asks about every single set now. So we wanted to kind of go back to original feel of the cup, and when I say original, I mean kind of like nice, clean designs, a lot of white background and stuff, just to not muddled with design work. And then for the rookie auto patch, we've put the patch on the side the last couple of years, and we actually kind of do that for a reason. And I think this is the first time I've actually explaining this. So we do a version with a shield also. And so if you've seen some versions of these cards from previous years, it's like the name and stuff, the shield, and then they have like the smallest area to sign, and then you barely see like part of their heads cut off with the white area that they put. And kind of wanted to stop that, so that's why you've seen like maybe the last couple years, the players kind of put a little bit on one side, the mems on the side and the area for signing, because it then gives you that area for the shield so it doesn't look all cramped up, because those shields are some of the biggest cards in the set. So why make them look bad? Really, make those cards look really nice. So I really like what we did with the designs this year. And I jokingly say there's no chemical composition. There's no new chemical composition cards. There's still a couple in there that are left over from last year, but for the most part, we got rid of those. You're welcome.
I like the idea behind those. It obviously just didn't quite work out how you envisioned, like we talked about last year. But yeah, always cool hearing about the design inspiration. And I personally think that the base and RPAs look great this year. So job well done on that. Another thing that people always enjoy talking about and debating and discussing and everything is the players that are on the numbered out to 99 RPA checklist. So this year it's Cole Caulfield, Spencer Knight, Trevor Zegras, Quentin Byfield, Moritz Seider, and Lucas Raymond. Can you just kind of reiterate maybe the timeline for that decision and kind of what goes into determining who those six are each year?
So there's a guy above me, the vice president of operations, Grant Sandground, and he's the one that gets the final say. But our coordinators, we have a specific time that we need to start building these cards. So, someone like Jason Robertson, the previous year, I say last year, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
The previous year, he was a 249, and it's because he didn't come on towards the end of the season. That's happened before. Guys like Gunsol, I think, was another one that really took off, but it was too late in the year. So we do our best, I guess, is the best way of putting it. And if there's any like mad changes at the end, like we can do what we can, but once those cards got a foil stamp on them, we can't do much else about it. So that's pretty much the process. Is our coordinator will come up and say these are the six guys. Grant says yes or no, and we go from there.
Sure, that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I would say just looking at those names, I think you guys were pretty much spot on. I mean, people could debate Spencer Knight, but he's obviously still a very touted goalie prospect. So yeah, definitely always cool seeing who those guys are going to be. Turning to some of the inserts, I always like highlighting what some of the new inserts are each year. So I'm just going to go down the list one at a time. And when I say whatever the insert is, if you want to share some of the inspiration and what went into those, that would be great. So the first one being the new effervescence autographs.
That was kind of inspired by an ad that I saw. I just thought it looked pretty cool, and I'm like, how can we turn this into a trading card? And I think our design team did a good job of taking what I saw and wanted and turning it into a card. So that's where that came from. Just kind of like having some color in a card and the player just kind of exploding out of it. And I think those cards look cool.
The national colors autos.
People enjoy their countrymen. And so I just kind of wanted to do something that involved players kind of representing their country. So it doesn't necessarily stand out as like one of the best cards in the set, but again, there are collectors of specific things, and so some people are going to love the cards because they're like, oh, I'm American. I love that it has the American flag in the background and the American colors. I want this card. And there are other people that are just kind of like, why would I want this? It doesn't have it's not focusing on the team that he's on. So that's kind of directed towards, country collectors.
This next one, a lot of people have been vocal about this, either positively or negatively. So I'm curious to hear the inspiration behind the basics.
You must have been talking to me because I guess I want to hear some more positive about it. It's one of those designs that I think people saw on and I think I've said this before, they saw it on a two-dimensional picture projected from a projector onto a white screen and decided to make an opinion on what the card looks from there. And I think you're really not doing this card justice if that's how you look at this card. Once you get these things in hands, you can be like, okay, this is actually a really nice card. It's got three colors of deco foil. I challenge you to find many cards out there that actually have three colors of deco foil on it. Not that it's anything special, but it's based off of the colors that you use to create a card. It's a very simple card and clean card. And that's what I was looking for. I want a nice, clean, simple card that uses three different passes of deco foil. So that cyan and magenta and yellow, that's deco foil. A nice area for them to sign. There's mem versions of it where we kind of knocked out some of the foil. I love the cards. I think they look absolutely gorgeous, but I like clean, simple cards. So, and I thought people like this isn't a cup card. Clean, simple cards. That makes me think cup. But you know, not every insert, just like not everyone's gonna like the national team ones. Not everyone's gonna like this. You're on the boards all the time. When one person complains, then everybody wants to like bandwagon on that complaint. And that's what I feel's happened here because I think 95% of the people that have complained about this card have not had the card in hand. And I know they haven't because it just came out today. So I'm not seeing many people complain about it after they've had it in hand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. And I always really like cards that, kind of highlight the printing process. I think it's just kind of a nice idea, highlighting what goes into a card. And, I've seen a few of them pulled and posted online and stuff. And I love the fact that it does use the three different colors of foil. I mean, I know in years past we've talked about the NHL collection cards and how those use two different colors. So the fact that this uses three is very, very cool and obviously really unique too.
Yeah, the NHL collection. That's like one of the first cards that in a while that did use two different colors of deco foil, and I did that on purpose. And so it's just like, all right, we were on level here, let's go up another level, and that's what we came up with.
Moving on to the next new insert, the player plaques autos.
Oh, these are one of my favorites. So I deal with different types of collectors. As some people know, I not only collect sports, I collect entertainment. And a lot of people will get like props or photos signed. And then there's like, even in sports and in entertainment, and there's like a plaque at the bottom that they'll have the name. And some people actually get the plaque signed. Like, I have a lot of friends that are Star Wars collectors. And so they'll buy a lightsaber and then they display it. And then what they'll do is they get these like little metal plaques and then they'll have the actor or actress sign the plaques. And I'm like, this would be kind of cool to do for a card. I can't think of too many plaque cards that are out there. There are cards signed on metal. It didn't invent anything here, but we embedded a plaque that we had the player sign. We highlighted a specific moment in their career and wrote a little bio. When you open it up, there's a bio on it. There's a picture from that moment, and then there's a plaque kind of commemorating that moment. And I think it's really cool. Again, a card that you look at a two-dimensional video screen, and you're not gonna get it. When I saw those, I was worried, and I wasn't worried, but when I went and packed out the cup with my group of people, that was one of the cards I wanted to see. I wanted to see if we were able to do this because that's something I would love to do in the future. Again, that's one of the hardest things with building the cup in these past few years is I haven't seen the cup for like I'm 2 years behind. So, I luckily I decided not to bring back color the composition cards, but chemical composition. But this is something that I feel I can bring back and I think people will like.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you guys had posted the picture of Bobby Orr signing his a few weeks ago, and that was
Yep.
definitely drawing some attention.
Yeah, marketing team did a great job on that one.
Next new insert one that I think is a really cool idea, so it was cool to see it done, are the strapped in fight strap cards and auto fight strap cards.
Give some love to the enforcers. And so we were, it's a piece of memorabilia that I don't think we use enough. So I'm just like, I want a big piece of fight strap. I'm like, give me a big chunk. And the one that we posted the picture of Tony Twist, and I saw someone's reaction when they saw that, and they got all excited because it's just like, dude, you got a fight strap of an enforcer. Like, this is sick. And then there's autograph versions and everything. That's just a fun card. That's one of those you want to try to make cards for everybody in this set. There's going to be a lot of superstars. This is the home where you get a lot of your legends and stuff, but throw some enforcers in there. But the thing is, make sure it's still a really cool card. Like, don't just make a autograph card of Joey Kosher. Like, yeah, I think that's cool, but you know, add a little pizzazz to it. And so we add a big old chunk of fight strap.
Very cool. This last new insert that I wanted to highlight is one that's probably my favorite of the new ones, just because, you look at the signature rendition autograph cards and those always look great. So the fact that you guys then turned the idea of the rendition cards into a relic card, I think those look really, really nice. And yeah, curious to hear your thoughts on those.
And this will go for some other inserts that I'm sure we're going to talk about. But unless we have an autograph deal with some of these guys, they're not going to have a signature rendition card. They're not going to have a card commemorating a moment, and it limits us to what moments that we can use. So it's just like, do I want to build more, quad jersey cards? Do I want to build more, stuff like duels and trios, or do I want to come up with something different? And I wanted to do something different, and that different was basically I go, I've got a great thing here already that I can just work from with the signature renditions. And so we decided let's do memorabilia versions of those. And we did, and they're nice. And there's patch versions that are really nice. I think we showed a Iserman one in our photo gallery that I really liked, obviously. But yeah, that was just to be able to include players that normally aren't included and stuff because we have memorabilia for them. We just don't have autograph deals with them.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I think those cards, especially the patch versions in particular, came out really, really nice. So yeah, cool to hear about those. Turning to kind of the next portion of the interview, these are questions about various product decisions and questions that other collectors have reached out to me and asked if I could ask. So just want to go through some of those. The first one, the show insert cards are now a standard insert that also have the auto parallels as opposed to just being standalone autograph cards in the past without an unsigned version. And what can you tell us about the decision to make the show cards just a standard insert that do also still have the autos?
So we have non-auto cards in the cup, and I wanted to make better non-auto cards in the cup. And so like I love those showpieces that we have some of them hanging around our office. I could look at those, love them. And I was just like, well, why don't we do a non-auto version of these? And this was something that we actually had thought of a long time ago for a potential other set. And so honestly, our designers had already come up with this design in a previous set we were thinking about. And we just kind of took those designs and said, let's add it to the cup. These would be much better non-auto cards than maybe some of the other ones that are in there because it's got people love their acetate and their PETG and stuff. So has that top layer. If you notice, these did not have the shadow box version.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've done those, and you know what? I don't think the lifted signature, like where it's signed on the PETG, they were great cards. I just don't think they were as nice as they could have looked. So I think we made them much better with how they were built this year. and the autographs really pop, the designs. And there's a white version and a black version. The white version kind of has like a full body action. It's signed in blue. The black version has a like a waist up image, more zoomed in, signed in like gold or silver. And then I think there's a one-on-one version that has a yellow background also. I think that's based off of the white the white and black version. But and then it's not the same people. I don't believe it's the same people like throughout. Like not everyone has a white version that has a black version. Like I gave my coordinators the opportunity to like mix it up. I wanted to get as many different signers as there as we could, but like big names, I wanted to have both versions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool to hear kind of the backstory there. I know someone had even been talking about that on social media today, so that's cool to hear that rationale. And I'm glad that you mentioned the not doing like the 3D effect type of thing because I know that's obviously how they've been done previously, and I was curious about that myself. So cool to hear about that. The next one, some of the monumental patches being horizontal booklets instead of just the traditional vertical. What went into that decision?
I got a call from North Carolina saying, Billy, we have all these amazing 100-year anniversary patches that we can't put into the monumentals. What can we do with them? And they basically asked permission if they could change the orientation of the cards from the vertical opening to the horizontal. And I'm going to trust those guys. And I think they made a really good decision. There's some other inserts that are pretty cool. Like you've got the stick from the Vancouver, you got the some other things that just they actually do look better. Now, do I want to do this on the regular? No, I think the monumental patches look amazing as they were, and the rookie ones are still, the traditional monumental patch, but we made an exception this year because we had some exceptional patches that we wanted to use for the set. So that's why they were the orientation that they were this year. They'll be back to the regular version next year. There, you got me talking about next year's cup. I'm gonna get in trouble. Darn it.
Oh, it's happening? Wow.
Yeah.
This next one is about one specific card on the checklist. So, just one that I know people have been talking about because they noticed it and were kind of curious. The Connor McDavid honorable numbers card this year is based on his draft year instead of based on his jersey number. So, it's numbered out of 15 as opposed to, being out of 7 like it normally would be for 97. What went into the decision to have it be focused on his draft year instead of jersey number?
With the limited logo, oh, we're probably going to talk about those next.
Yep.
With the notable numbers, you know what? How many times do you want to see the same card? We've done it before where no one's going to be repeated in a 3-year span. We've done that before. But then again, I don't want to limit our coordinators on who they can put into auto patch inserts because we need a specific number of auto patch cards to be able to fulfill our checklists. Because the order goes base card, rookie auto patch, and we need to make sure we get enough of those. And I want this checklist to be as strong as possible throughout the set. And there are some good players that you'd like to put in there, like McDavid. So I kind of just made the decision to change the numbering on cards to another specific number. For the McDavid, it was the draft year. There's going to be other honorable numbers that have other numbers other than their draft year. And if you notice on the McDavid, it specifically says below, like it doesn't say like his jersey. No, it specifically says why it's numbered to that. And I apologize to all the traditionalists that every year it's supposed to be like this. But unfortunately, I just didn't want to make the same card year after year after year. So we changed it up a little bit. And a few years from now, when we get a whole new group of people that have played, do we switch it back? That's a possibility for sure. I don't see why not. But maybe for a year or two, we kind of switch it up just so we get some variety. The card's not called notable jersey numbers.
Good point. It is not. And for those who aren't familiar with the checklist, the McDavid is the only instance where it's not the jersey number for this year, just so people are clear on that.
I
But
think I think the rookies are still their jersey number. Correct me
mhm,
if I'm wrong. Yeah,
that
I
sounds
mean,
right.
I kept the rookies as jersey number, but for some of the veterans, we tried to mix it up. And you know what? Maybe not all of them came in, and maybe next year that is going to be the same direction.
Gotcha. That makes sense. The next one, this is kind of an interesting one because I know a lot of people were excited to see the Titleist cards come back after a pretty extended break away from the product. But this year they're all just numbered out of 10 as opposed to being numbered out of the number of Stanley Cups that a player had won. So it's just kind of curious to hear the rationale for that.
You're not going to find those in the set. I completely agree with you. That was supposed to be taken off the checklist. I just heard this for the first time today because I don't think they were on the checklist. You are 100% right. They are supposed to be numbered to the number of cups that they won, and those cards are not in this year's set.
Gotcha. So are those pushed or they just didn't end up happening or
Might seem in the future. Was very excited that those cards were going to be made again, and I know a lot of people have been waiting for them. But if we do it, we're going to do it right. So apologize to anyone that I didn't. I just found out today that they were on some checklist that was sent out. They should not have been. So let it be known.
okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's good to hear. Another question that somebody just brought up earlier tonight was wondering if the product is still hand packed and collated.
Yeah, a week in North Carolina. It was not as warm in North Carolina as it was in California when I was out there. I had to bring some jackets and stuff, and the warehouse isn't as warm as my nice cozy desk that you can see me sitting at right now. So yeah, it is hand packed. All the packs that people are happy about and are glad that they got all the cards that are in there. Those are the ones that I packed, and then everybody else packed the other ones. I'm just joking. But yes, we had about 6 or 7 guys for about 3 or 4 days sitting there, literally just pack by pack building it.
How does that work as far as like obviously it's easy to determine what goes into a specific tin, but how does that then work on the case level and ensuring that there aren't duplicates within a case?
There could be duplicates in a case. Grant has built a, we'll loop cards to make sure that there's a specific types of hits throughout the case and everything. And if you saw this thing, you would be like, oh my goodness, like we're playing checkers and he's got some 3D chessboard going on. It's ridiculous. He has built an amazing method to do this, but the only thing we can't control really, like you might get this if there's a type of rookie auto patch that's supposed to fall and it falls within a couple times within a case, there is obviously the chance because these boxes are sorted and different people are building at different times. These things are pulled, they're then packed and put in a big thing and then boxed up and shipped away. And those cards could potentially fall in the same case because they're just grabbing from this level to this level to this level to fill the 610 case.
Cool. Another thing that obviously a lot of people have noticed, and we've talked about this topic before, but maybe if you could kind of just reiterate what forces this decision. Trevor Zegras having sticker autos in the product, obviously not what you guys wanted or hoped or planned, but maybe just talk a little bit about that reality.
Yeah, it's basically a broken record from last year. We did everything we could to have this guy sign for us. We went above and beyond. Other people went above and beyond, and it just wasn't able to happen, unfortunately. He is not the only sticker autograph in the set, unfortunately. He's probably not even the biggest name that's the sticker autograph. Of course, I'm referring to Gordie Howe, but no, he's the only rookie sticker that we have in the set, and it's unfortunate. And we, as I said, we did everything that we could. I can't get into the logistics of what our talent acquisition team had to go through to try to make it happen. But what I can say is, I know they did everything that they could. I think our team in North Carolina did a great job applying stickers to the cards to make it at least it's not just a sticker thrown on there. They tried to make sure it was placed nicely. It was cut. If it didn't fit in a specific area, they trimmed it. And, there's some really nice Trevor Zegras cards in the set. It's unfortunate that they are sticker autographs, but if you look at them, they're still beautiful cards. So, yeah, it sucks. And our goal is to have 100% autographs from all of our rookies and, veterans, obviously excluding stuff like people that have passed away, but we unfortunately weren't able to accomplish that this year.
Yeah, and I think, it's important for people to understand that even if you did a redemption card, that really isn't going to change the situation. It was really, it's this way or it's not at all. So yeah, I mean, I am always very much a proponent of do what you have to do to get the cards made. So I'm glad to see that
So
you guys agree with that.
would you believe me if I said, yeah, we just waited, a year and a half for Zegras's cards to get signed. That's the reason why the cup is late. No, you're not gonna believe me? Oh well. Let me
But
say, our talent acquisition team did an amazing job getting a number of the other guys. They went above and beyond to get Sider and Raymond and Caulfield. They made stuff happen. So kudos to them because it definitely strengthens the set when you're able to put the full allotment of cards of these top rookies into the set as opposed to a limited number of stickers, which would then kind of weaken your case hits and big hits in each tin with what should be top rookies. So they did a great job to strengthen the product for sure.
very nice. Yeah, and I know a lot of people are really excited to see that those three in particular did have on-card autos. So kudos to you guys for that. You did mention the limited logos earlier, so we'll turn to those next. First thing, we'll save the autograph, non-autograph for later. But the first thing, a few people have noticed that the rookie limited logos are not game used this year.
So great question. That is a misprint on the type. I had our coordinator go through and they can tell you exactly like what jersey and bag and everything is pulled from. And I just got a note saying all limited logo cards in 21-22 were game worn. So the congratulation type is a misprint. And that sucks because people are going to question it. They shouldn't, but they have every right to because we wrote the wrong type on the back of the card. But I checked with my coordinators that helped build the cup and they researched it for me. That's people can't see, but while we were talking, people were like throwing over like little post-it notes to me while you and I were talking. And it was confirmed that the limited logos, as instructed by me in our brief, and as correctly allocated by our coordinator, just unfortunately not printed right on the back of the cards. Those are game worn.
Well, that's really cool and really exciting to hear. I know a lot of people will be really happy to hear that. And then turning to the autograph versus non-autograph conversation with limited logos, obviously people are well aware of those at this point, and you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier on, but what went into the decision to have some limited logos that do not have autographs?
Yeah, again, it deals with there's players out there that have never had limited logos because we don't have autograph deals with them. And we have jersey for them, and they're great players, and we want to put them in the set, but we can't. Now, there are still autograph limited logos, but there's some traditionalists that don't like change, and they're not going to like the fact that the cards aren't signed. What I will say is, I think the checklist is stronger. I cannot recall a single person ever saying, check out this autograph on the limited logo. I think they always say, check out the patch on the limited logo. And lastly, I will say the name of the card is limited logos. It's not called signed logos or, litho logos or whatever you want to call it. It's limited logos, basically dealing with these patches come from the team logo. And Gretzky jersey ain't cheap. And there's a Rangers Gretzky limited logo this year. That's probably a top 10 card in the set, to be honest with you. Anytime you can get a big chunk of Wayne Gretzky patch, yeah, those will do well. But that's the reasoning behind it. I still made sure that, there's autograph versions of it, but now we have an opportunity to add more players to that checklist. So it's not the same guys year after year.
That makes sense for sure. And it's good to hear kind of that rationale too, because I think it's so easy for people to just say, well, why'd you do that? That's a terrible decision. But, then hearing, well, we want more people to be able to be in that set. And obviously it's a very, very heavily collected and popular set every year and has been for a number of years. So yeah, cool to hear the explanation for that
And Eric, why do they collect it?
because they like them.
Why is limited logos a big deal? Well, what do they like about them? They like the big patches, don't they?
I think that's pretty much all the questions I have about the cup. Is there anything else that you would want to add?
What do I want to add about the cup? Another cool insert that's new that you accidentally didn't mention was the dual autograph ticket booklets.
Yep.
So we took the ticket booklets to a whole another level where we actually have a player that from the game from each team sign it with a piece of ticket stub. Now we didn't add stats in there this time, but I think those are really cool. And I think there's a Gretzky Lemieux in there. That's pretty sick. Another thing is I know people get upset with past product stuff being in there. I will say a lot of the past product cards this year are pretty legit cards.
Hmm.
If you want to see Sidney Crosby in the cup, the only way you're going to get it is a past product for the most part. I think most of his cards are past products, so that's how he's in there. But he's in there. Guys like Joe Sakic is another one that I can think of. And then I think we even showed a picture of it, although we normally don't show pictures of previous years. There are cards that we won't, if we don't have it, we won't do redemptions for it, like for one-on-ones. One-on-ones, we do not do redemptions. They're too expensive to, like, how are you gonna remake it? Or how are you gonna, like, if it doesn't get signed or whatever. One of the big cards though in this year's cup is the auto shield of Jason Robertson's in there. And I think we showed a picture of it. I don't know if we should have, but I thought that was a pretty big card that I think people would want to see. And if you're like, why wasn't this in last year's? Please, 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 anybody that's buying the cup, do your research before you buy it, whether it be a tin or a case, and if look and see if there's, like, do I have a chance of getting this shield? Well, look at the checklist and make sure that the shield's in there. Do I have a chance of getting this player or this player? Look at the checklist. You're spending a good amount of money on this investment. Make sure that you're investing wisely. And what I mean by that is make sure if you're trying to get a specific card or player, that that specific card and player is in the set. So that's my little word of advice. Other than that, I think you asked pretty much all the questions that need to be asked. And no, Connor Bedard is not in this year's cup.
I always get a kick out of when people say, or ask if Bedard is going to be in a product, especially when it's from years past. But yeah, good. Still good that you clarify anyway. But and then turning to 22-23 SP game used. This is a product that we've been saving to talk about until you were able to join us. So yeah, definitely a fun product every year and one that's always really interesting. So the first thing, this is a topic that kind of boggles my mind that people don't understand this, but if you could clarify and confirm and everything how the base jersey number autos work and the fact that yes, they are one of one cards.
Oh, sure. Yes. So the true rookie cards for the set are numbered to the player's jersey number. Now, the last card of each true rookie, if we have an autograph deal or if we have autos for them, they will be autographed, and those are basically one of ones. It's the only one that's autographed. But so if a player's jersey, I can't remember who it was, if their jersey is one, the only rookie card for them, if they have an autograph deal, is their autograph one of one. Like that's their rookie card. But yeah, so that's pretty much how it works out. So we'll just use, like McDavid's rookie year as an example, where there were 97 base rookie cards, and he's number 97. Card 97 out of 97 would have an autograph label. All the other ones would not. I hope that answered your question and is easy for everyone to understand.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
don't come at you with pitchforks.
I mean, I think myself and most people understand how it works, but it seems like every year when the product comes out, there's still some people that are just adamant about the fact that the autographed version is not a one of one because it says on the card 97 out of 97, for example. So yeah, always just kind of shake your head and say, well, okay.
It's you get new collectors every year, which is great. And guess what? They're not going to understand the fact that the green PMGs for the vintage ones are there's only 10 copies, even though it says 10 out of 100, and just kind of have to accept that and kind of help them along the way.
Very true. That's a good point. So, turning to some of the notable returning content for the product, one that immediately stuck out to me was that the Game Use Glass cards have been brought back this year, this time for the All-Star game. I know those have been very intriguing cards, now over the last two releases. Is there anything you want to share about those?
Yeah, they're gorgeous, and if you see any cheap, snag them because they're tough cards to make. I think we had to trim the stuff down a little bit just to fit in a card. Otherwise, they're even thicker, but I think they're pretty sweet cards. You get a big chunk of the glass. I think the boards have been done. Maybe glass has been done before. I'm not sure if our competitors have made that before. I know they've made board cards, but it's not easy to make those cards. So take advantage of them while you can, for sure.
Very cool. And I know this next one is one that Aaron in particular has a vested interest in, as this year has an extension of the A Piece of History set. What kind of went into the decision to bring those back and update and add to that set?
A few years ago, I brought it back, and because we don't make jersey cards that much in flagship, and so I wanted to bring these back, and we put them in game used. And so they found a nice little home, and we decided to kind of come up with some new categories for people. And when we came up with the new categories, we opened ourselves up to being able to make more in the future because people hit those milestones. So that's kind of where we came with those, is just let's create more. It's a very popular set. It's very collectible. So give the people what they want.
No doubt. And then turning to some of the notable new content, one insert that I really like the idea of and think they're cool cards are the rally time cards that feature little pieces of a rally towel from like playoff games and stuff in them.
Yeah, and I know there's a few things in here that are a little odd that people are going to be like, why would I want that? But this is something, you go to a game in the playoffs, as a Red Wing fan, I used to know what this was all about. I haven't gotten to pick up any rally towels in a while, but my friends show me what theirs look like. But it's just kind of cool. It's got writing on it, and I was just like, well, these are from playoff games, and these rally towels are from specific games, and I believe we even put pictures of the specific rally towel on the back for you to say this is the picture of the towel that you're getting it from, and it's from a specific game, and we try to do that. There's a vintage one, I think, that's like Lemieux or something, that's pretty sick. But yeah, it's just something different. There's so much stuff that is associated with hockey and hockey games, and they're low numbered. It's not like we made, a million of these cards. Each towel is numbered to a specific number, and that's it. So I like them. I think it's a fun addition. Some people might not think like this is not part of the game, but go to a hockey game in the playoffs and tell me it's not.
That's very true. Yeah, it's a fun part of the game for sure, and cool to see them put into cards for sure. So, and then one other thing, obviously, a lot of people have been talking about are the mascot cards, whether that be the mascot marks or the dodgeball cards. So, curious to hear some of the inspiration and thought that went into those.
Yeah, man, I saw someone on Facebook talking about mascot cards and stuff too. That's got a big smile on his face that I can see on the other side of this computer. Look, the league is very big on all of its stuff, and they want to see more mascots. And we'll do what we can to accommodate. And they've provided us with a lot of possibilities. And so when we were like, you saw stuff in MVP, and it was like, well, how can we take this to another level? And I'm like, well, let's do like draft day marks, but let's do versions of that with the mascots. And a lot of people hate the idea when they saw it, but as I might have mentioned in such specific Facebook page, go look and see what those cards are selling for, as opposed to some of the other cards that are in the set. And not to say that the other cards are bad, but just go take a look. There's collectors. There are mascot collectors. There's people that think they're cool. They like them. Shoot, remember how popular Gritty was, like his Young Gun, compared to other hockey player Young Guns? Well, the same applies for in this thing. And then here's the other thing is Upper Deck sponsors the mascot dodgeball game at the All-Star game. And we get jerseys and stuff. So we also have a association with the mascots, not just the league wanting us to use mascots, but we have an affiliation with the mascots also. So we get jerseys and stuff. I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to use those jerseys that they have. So, we got the jerseys, and I wonder if those smell worse than the players' jerseys sometimes. Who knows? But we use the jerseys and we use the dodgeballs themselves. I'm just like, this would be kind of cool. Never seen a cut up dodgeball in a card. I mean, I wish someone would make a dodgeball set from the movie, but unfortunately, that hasn't happened. So in the meantime, we've got the dodgeball all-star mascot game. And again, it's not like we're shoving down your throat these rubber ball memorabilia pieces. They're very low numbered. And again, go look and see what they're selling for on the secondary market. You'll be surprised, and you might turn down the level of those complaints when you see it. And you know what? And I've said this before, if you open up a box of cards and don't get the cards that you want, but there's value to that box, sell the cards or trade the cards to what you do want. Like if there's value to these cards, which there are, but you don't want it, then find an avenue to somehow either get some sort of money for it or some other cards for it that you do want. And now all of a sudden that pack of yours that you thought you did horrible because there's a picture of Gritty on there, all of a sudden, you're getting what you wanted out of that pack.
That makes a lot of sense for sure, and that's why they are called trading cards after all.
Right.
I think that's all the questions I have specifically about SP Game Use. Is there anything else that you want to mention or highlight about the product before we break into a box?
Oh, you got some. Oh, I see. No, pretty excited. Again, game used sim I don't want to say similar to the cup, but there's some really, really good stuff in there. Again, we built it kind of at the case level, so you'll get hits throughout the case, but sometimes if you get one pack, you might not necessarily get exactly what you're looking for, but from a case standpoint, a lot of times you'll see a lot more value out of it that way, or the value even out. That's probably a better way of putting it.
Very cool. Just for my reference, are the glass cards inserted in the packs this year?
I believe so. Yes, I've
Okay.
seen some. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, I'm assuming we don't have one here because this is not a very thick or heavy pack. But let's see what we got. We do have one thick card in there, so that's a good start.
Can't remember. I'm looking at my build. Did my stick insert name get through? I can't remember. I'm looking at version 7 here in my build. Is there
I think it did.
boomstick? Is it called
Um,
boomstick or is it called something else?
when I was preparing for this, I saw something, but it wasn't Boomstick, it was something else.
Oh, that was the original name. That's for all the Ash
STI
fans. Oh, that's
STIXL.
right. Yeah, I had to change the name. They didn't let me get away with boomstick. I don't know if you've ever watched Evil Dead. He's like, "This is my boomstick," and he's got like this big old gun. He's like, "It goes boom." Um, but yeah, that's right. I had to change the name on that one. Oh well.
So since we're on the topic, how do you pronounce the name of that insert set?
It's like Stick XL, but it's
Okay,
like yeah.
gotcha. Alrighty. Well, first card of the pack, we have an authentic rookies red, numbered out of 220 for the Columbus Blue Jackets of Kent Johnson.
Oh,
Good
there's your
name.
case hit. I'm just kidding.
Second card, we have a retro rookie, numbered out of 999 for the Winnipeg Jets of Dylan Sandberg. Really cool design on those. We'll go to the back and save the thick card for last. Really like the look of this card. We have a Purity and pretty much the best name you can get for the Edmonton Oilers, Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, nice.
And I like how these have the die cuts actually like inside of the card.
That's not cheap, just so you know. Just thought I'd
I'm sure
mention
it's
that.
not. I'm sure it's not, but it looks really cool. Again, from the back, we've got a rookie jersey for the Philadelphia Flyers of Hayden Hodgson. Nice orange swatch. Again, from the back, we've got another jersey for the Montreal Canadiens of Nick Suzuki. And moving to the thick card, that's a really nice one. We have a draft day marks numbered out of 35 for the San Jose Sharks, William Eklund.
A William Eklund draft day marks. We got a guy in the office that would love that card. Oh, Riley's not here right now. Oh, all he does is talk Eklund. It's
Very
annoying.
cool.
There's some bets going on in the office about how many goals he's going to score.
He's a good player, that's for sure. So definitely a good name to get. But yeah, I mean, obviously the draft day marks cards are always one of the most sought after inserts of SP Game Use. So always really cool to see that. Um,
Definitely.
I think that'll do for SP Game Used and for the episode as a whole. Is there anything else that you want to add about either of those products or maybe anything else you've got coming down the pipe?
No, just looking forward to hopefully everybody having a happy holiday season and getting ready to jump back into it when the new year starts. And I've already did my trip out to the Midwest, so sorry I didn't get to see you while you were out there, but I was in Michigan. You were not. My family
True.
does Thanksmas, so we kind of do it in between sort of thing.
Hmm.
And then I have some friends that I do a little Christmas action with. But yeah, And there's a lot of really cool Marc-Andre Fleury cards in the cup,
True.
and some sick Blackhawk patch cards in the cup. That's probably all he would have talked about. So I had to make sure I said that for him since I'm taking his place today.
That's true. Yeah, I would love to pick up a Flurry patch auto from the Cup this year for sure. That's on my bucket list and definitely
There's a
hope to
lot
do
of
so.
there's a lot in there, and there's some pretty sick mem. You didn't get to see all the stuff I took pictures of in our posts on Facebook, but man, it sucks having to have all those pictures on your phone and knowing what it is and having to wait like weeks until they finally use them on social media. But I'm glad you guys finally got to see all the stuff that we're doing for the cup, and hope everybody's enjoying SB Game Used.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been fun seeing those previews leading up to release. Lots of really nice cards, and yeah, obviously it being release day, there's been a lot of really nice cards already pulled, and yeah, always fun watching the cup open. So awesome. Well, again, thanks for pinch hitting for Aaron and providing your insight as always. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you, sir.
You too, bud. We'll talk to you later.
So with that'll do it for this episode. Obviously, always a treat to hear more about the cup, and definitely got some great information from Billy about the product this year. I mean, first of all, just hearing that the rookie limited logos are in fact game used is extremely encouraging. I mean, I think everybody should be really excited to hear that, and obviously unfortunate that they're mislabeled on the back of the cards, but the fact that they are actually game used is great. And yeah, I know that had been something people were concerned about since it, has always been done that they were game used. So the fact that they still are game used is very exciting for sure. And obviously, getting that information that the Titleist cards are not actually in the product is also very beneficial information to hear and know about. So, but yeah, of course, we always appreciate Billy taking the time and joining us and sharing the information about these products and the cards that we love and collect so dearly. So certainly appreciate this time as always. So. But yeah, I think that will do it for this episode. So as always, please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast, and on Twitter at Sunrise CC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.